morning everyone, my name is Hessel and today we are hiking further down the Pieterpad. Now today we are hiking from Ommen to Hellendoorn, which is about 21 kilometers, and it takes us through the first real hills of the Netherlands, which is the Hillridge of Salland. It is considered to be one of the most beautiful parts of Pieterpad, and today we are climbing hills to a height of about 75 or 80 meters. Very soon starting with the Pieterpad, the mountain of Bestman, and then the Archemerberg, the mountain of Archen. Anyway, when I see something interesting, I will show you guys. So, we have reached the top of the Pieterpad, the mountain of Bestman. On top of this mountain, well, there's a tower where we are now, and from here, the view is actually quite good, even though this tower is only some 20 meters high, and the hill itself is around 35 meters high. So over in this direction we have the west. You can see the Archemerberg, the mountain of Archen, over there. We are going there very soon. In the north we have, well, the direction of Ommen. Over there you can see a few buildings. Those are part of Ommen. And if you look down a little, you see the heath. And like I already explained about the field of Ballo, as soon as you reach the end of summer, well, the heath will turn purple. Like this. Absolutely magnificent. Looking towards the east, well, it's a lot of forest, I must say that. But it is quite beautiful, I must say. Looking towards the south, we see the direction that we are going to walk. Further down to the south will be Hellendoorn, and after that Holten, Laren, and so further down the Pieterpad. From here I can't really see Hellendoorn, which is quite sad since, well, it would be fun to see where we're going. Although I think over there you can see a few buildings, that might be Hellendoorn. Anyway, from here on we will continue to the Archemerberg. Over here we have the Steile Oever, steep river. Well, that name is quite literal. Good name. It's a riverside and it is relatively steep for Dutch standards. Now, the river that you see down there is basically a dead arm of the Regge, a river that flows a little bit further that way. Yeah, quite a sight to see a steep riverside in the Netherlands. So a little while before we climb the Archemerberg, we have these bushes. Now these are juniper berries, which are, well, quite rare nowadays in the Netherlands. This is one of only a few places where they still grow in this amount. Now let's see if this is one that is relatively close to the road. The berries aren't ripe yet, because if they are ripe, they are, well, a bit more blackish. But this is the, well, quite characteristic shape of the leaves of a juniper berry. just a little further, we also have a little bit more purple heat that we also saw from the top of the Berg. Anyway, a little further we will reach the Berg. We are almost at the top of the Berg. It was quite a climb. First high hill of the Netherlands, where we are 78 meters. Just after the Berg, we reach the Dikke Steen, or the thick stone. This is potentially the largest boulder in the Netherlands, and it once functioned as a border stone between Arnhem and Lemelen. It is half dug up to be placed in front of the city hall of Ommen, but eventually this did not happen, and the stone is still where it originally was. Over here we have Canal. Now the Canal is a canal between the cities of Deventer and Zwolle and the region of Twente. It was opened in 1855. At that time it was very important for the textile industry in Twente. Now since the Twente Canal in Hellendoorn has been open, so this hasn't gotten much use. And since the 60s, well, it was closed for ships. Anyway, we will continue a little bit further over the field of Lemelen, the Lemelerveld, and after that we will reach some forested hills in the last 5 kilometers to Hellendoorn. So, quite some interesting places to go. So, right now we are walking on the Lemelerveld, the field of Lemelen. It's quite open and flat compared to the hills that we have hiked through the rest of the day. Yes. But the history of this land, well, quite interesting. And it used to be the same way as you saw from a bear, but yeah, somehow the Dutch people didn't like that, and they started to reform the landscape to what it is now. Only some street names remind us of what this area used to be. That's quite sad because I would have liked more to the type of peace landscape that we just hiked through. But I know for a fact that the next episode will also contain some peace. Quite a lot actually, but not as much as today. Anyway, from here on, it's only about 7.5 kilometers to Hellendoorn, so not that far anymore. We we are over halfway yet. I must say, this view isn't bad either. But was a lot better. The last 4 kilometers until Hellendoorn are on the Hillridge. Now the Hillridge is a little different from the other so-called mountains that we climbed today, because as you can see, it's forested. Also, quite interesting, on top of the Hillridge used to be a launching station for P-2 rockets during the Second World War. I have heard that you can still find remnants of these launchers, but I haven't seen them. If I see any, I will of course include a video or photo of it. If I don't, well, and that's just sad. Well, it's not sad. It is. It would be interesting to see. Let me say it like that. Anyway, only a small way to go to Hellendoorn. Alright, just moments before we enter Hellendoorn, the Hellendoorn edge, which is the first slopes of the Hellendoorn Berg, of the mountain of Hellendoorn. Now it is not much more than a slight slope, but from a distance you can still see the slope. Anyway, right in front of me, only about 1 kilometer, is the village of Hellendoorn, and that is where we stop for today. So that's it for this episode. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you all next time.